Hello， 欢迎大家来到第4周的 G.R.M.T 连接内在真我读书会。然后我们要继续探讨关于我们的一些信念，还有其他的领域。欢迎我们的Loy老师 ，Welcome Loy teacher。
Thank you. Very good to be here today. Thank you for coming along. Okay, so we'll continue our discussion of this book, What Do You Really Want? And we're now up to chapter 4. We've covered the first 3 chapters in the first 3 meetings. And this is a change now. We're changing sort of direction a little bit here. We sort of set the groundwork, or we set the scene in the beginning here with these first 3 chapters, which were pretty much saying that we have a challenge. The challenge is, excuse my moving this around, the challenge is learning to be ourselves, to express our real self, to have our real, tune into, know, understand our real feelings, and to develop our real self. And that's the challenge. And it is a significant challenge.
What's that?
Significant. It means that it's quite a large challenge. It's not a small challenge. It's quite a demanding challenge. So it's something that is quite difficult to take on for a variety of psychological reasons. And one is that if we're not expressing ourselves and we're not tuning in to our real feelings, there's a reason for that. And that's associated with the fears, with uncomfortable feelings, concerns, worries, and so forth. So it is a challenge. Okay, so we've discussed that. We went on to say, is this a realistic, well, that part of that first chapter was, is it realistic to sort of think that we can sort of shape a life that is to our suiting, matches our values? And the basic conclusion we came from that is, yes, it's very realistic, considering that our thinking plays a large role in our experience of life, experience of reality. Our thinking plays a large role in the behaviors we adopt or take and the goals we choose. So that was the first chapter. So I'll give you, do you want to summarize what I've just said, Bonnie?
No.
No, you don't. Okay.
反正大家就是老师在总结我们前几周的那个一些内容。对，请回到前3集复习。I just say to everybody, if they are interested in the previous chapter, they can go like a review.
Yeah, and the last week, the 3rd week was a very good one for a review, which is what we did of those first 3 chapters. And so we've discussed that a good place to start is looking at our self-esteem. If we're going to start to sort of follow our real self, tune into our real feelings, a good place to start is to check out how is our self-esteem going, and start to sort of build that, and self-acceptance being an important part of that. Hello.
Hi. Oh, we have new student.
Great. We're just starting. Okay, so we looked at how to develop high self-esteem, and then we just simply summarized last week with this idea of our natural drives, which is to explore our world, explore our potential, explore our feelings, know ourselves, to express ourselves in the world. Drive meaning just our motivation, whether we have a natural motivation to express ourselves, and we have a drive to expand our experience, just to build more self-awareness, to become more master in our own life. Okay, so that's what we discussed. So that was setting up the first part. That's the first part of the book. So in this part 2 is about the bonds of the past. Okay, so bonds meaning, do we know what bonds mean?
那
What
个
they-
connect.
Yeah, that's right. So it's the things that hold us from, that restrict us from moving on, that are still holding us past experiences, or the holding on to our past.
Jenny,
This
new friend.
This one here, Jenny.
杰尼，我朋友，
哦
他本来也要来那个台南的工作坊，
哦，
但延期。
Okay. Hello, Jenny.
杰尼，
Okay.
So,
So this, we're now starting this second section of the book, part of the book, which is about the bonds of the past. What holds us to the past, what stops us from change, what stops us from expressing ourselves, being ourselves, and so on. Okay, and so now this first one is the largest chapter in the book, and it's about how our beliefs get shaped.
OK， 第二部分就是在今天要探讨的，就是到底是什么过去还在束缚我们，让我们没有办法就是改变，还有往前走。然后我们今天会来探讨这个部分。那如果大家还没有要发言的话，可以帮我关一下静音。等一下要发言再自己打开哦，谢谢。先帮大家关静音一下。OK。
Okay, so with this section of the book, with this chapter, we're just going to start, it just starts at the beginning. Well, it starts what we might think is the beginning. And so what we've got here is we're saying that our beliefs, our thinking, what we think is, mainly this is talking about the idea of our core beliefs, the beliefs that we have about ourselves and about the world. We can think about that. So this is about the belief. When I say beliefs, it's the thinking we have about who we are, about life, about how safe life is, about whether it's okay or not for us to express ourselves, beliefs and thinking about love, being nourished, that sort of thing. Do you want to summarize that, Bonnie?
Do you mean in these first 9 months?
This is what we're talking about in this section in this chapter, is about the idea here, shaping of beliefs. When we're talking about beliefs, that's kind of what we're talking about. We're talking about basic ideas about who we are, about life, our core beliefs.
哦，就是这边黄色字就是在讲到底是什么样的核心信念在塑造我们的生活，还有对，就是我们相信的一些东西，还有对于我们自己的一些观点。
Okay, so this is important. This is important. And so where do we start with thinking about that? If I have a feeling that life is not safe, if I have a feeling I'm not safe in the world, where does that come from?
就是如果你有一种感觉是你好像在这个世界是不安全的，那你觉得那个感觉是从哪里来的？
Or we could say the other way. If I do have a feeling that I am safe in the world, that my world is a safe place, if that's my real feeling, I really feel that. If that's my real feeling or your real feeling, how come we have that feeling? Where's that coming from?
或是假如你觉得自己是存在是非常安全的，那为什么你会觉得自己存在是很安全的呢？那边是从哪里得来的结论呢？还是
Yeah.
Taco say maybe it's the consciousness of the whole society, or your original family, or some like a news or media,
Yeah.
social media or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. And all of those things are having potentially influencing that. If we come into a world where there is war, then we're not going to be feeling that safe. If we've got a family situation which is war, fighting, then we may not feel that safe. But let's go back even further. Okay, let's start at the very beginning. Okay, so this section here is talking about the first 9 months of our existence. So this is going back to when we are in the womb, inside our mother.
所以这一章要讲说我们在那个怀胎9个月的时期，就是在妈妈的子宫里面时期所感受到的一些东西，然后是如何影响我们现在的生活。
Yeah. Okay, so there's a few of us here. Let's just think about that for a moment then. Okay, so maybe if you think, what was happening, you think back to when your mother had you in her womb, she was carrying you. Maybe you don't remember or you don't know much about what was happening then. But so let's just think, what do you know? What would that have been like? What was happening for your mother? So maybe what was your mother's situation, your mother and father's situation, whatever that was happening there? What do you think, from what you know, what was happening? What was going on that was the environment where you were inside and it was your mother's life? What was happening? I'd like to just hear from everybody.
就是老师
Just
想
your
要
first thoughts. And I can start.
嗯
Okay, so I'll start. So what was happening? Oh, sorry, go.
就是老师要了解一下大家就是有没有跟妈妈聊过在妈妈怀孕的时候当时的情况啊，然后或是有面对什么样的状况，然后老师希望大家可以分享一下，然后老师要先分享他自己的。Okay.
Well, I'll just say a few things about my mother's experience, and I haven't thought about this for a long time. But so when my mother got pregnant with me, firstly, it wasn't planned, and my mother wasn't married at the time. So it was an accident. Okay, so there was a lot of pressure on my mother from the family and from society that she should be married. So
就是老师已经有一阵子就是很少去关注这部分，但是他后来发现他妈妈就是在怀他的时候是意外的怀孕，然后而且是没有结婚的状态下，然后所以他就承受很多来自于家庭啊还有外界的压力，所以就是有很多各种压力。
So I would think that my mother was she might have been quite upset. I'm sure she was upset that she had gotten pregnant. And I think she's thinking that she is bad or that she made a mistake. She would be having those sorts of feelings, I'm pretty sure.
所以他妈妈当时就觉得可能很自责啊，然后或是觉得自己是不是做错什么事情啊，然后觉得自己很不好这样。
Yeah. And so my mother needed to be married. She was being pressured, her mother, society, pushing to get married. I know my father didn't want to get married, and maybe my mother didn't want to marry my father. So there would have been conflict there. They would have felt that they had to do this because it was the right thing to do.
然后就是他妈妈他妈妈的妈妈就是跟他说这样就是要先结婚啊，然后其实老师的爸爸可能当时也不想要结婚，然后但是 然后他妈可能也不想要嫁给他爸，反正就是一种冲突的结合，就是被强迫要结婚这样。
Yeah. So that was their situation. I also know that their financial situation was really tight. There wasn't too much money, that it was a difficult time in England. It was after the war. And so things were still recover from that situation. So there was other things going on in the situation. There was problems with being stable with a house. My family moved around a lot because my dad was in the army. So we moved all the time. I went to sort of maybe 7 schools in a very short period of time, something like that, because we had to move for my dad's work.
就是当时他们那个状况，其实经济也是刚从世界大战就是结束，所以经济也都很不好。然后所以老师父母的状况也是就是也是经济也是不太好这样。然后而且老师的爸爸是军人，所以就要一直到处去移动。然后像老师他就小学就换了7间学校。
Okay, so that's probably enough. There would have been all sorts of other things going on, I'm sure, and I don't really have I don't have the truth. I have talked to my mum about this. So we can think then, for my mum, was she constantly stressed? Was she worried, upset, depressed, anxious, concerned? What was her emotional feeling during that time? Was she worried about, I was a first child. Was she worried about having my health, her health, staying healthy? Was she concerned there might be something wrong? Many mothers are for their first child. So all of these things. What about conflict with my dad? How was that? Was that stressful? We know that it can be very stressful in a relationship if it's not, you're not happy with each other. So all of that is happening, and I am inside, and I am feeling all of that energy. I'm feeling the anxiety, and the physiological changes happening, the body changes, the chemical changes. I'm aware, in a sense, of all of that is just part of my experience.
就是那时候他的妈妈可能会有一些压力啊，或是担忧啊，或是沮丧啊，或是有点忧郁啊，想说要被强迫结婚这样，然后而且是可能嫁给不想要嫁的人，然后或是其他这种焦虑的情绪啊，因为是第一胎，所以可能就会担心说，孩子的健康啊，或是自己身体的状况这样。然后因为就是老师在妈妈肚子里面嘛，所以他其实是可以察觉到这些所有的来自妈妈的情绪啊，然后或是所有外界的状况啊，然后或是各种感觉，其实在妈妈的子宫里面，老师就是身为胎儿的我们都感受得到，而且是形成我们就是一部分的经验这样。
So the question becomes, what could I experience, or what could I come to feel as sort of normal or natural to experience as a result of that, of being in the womb and all those things, the impact of that, of my mother's experience of everything going on for her? How could that affect me? I mean, maybe it did, and maybe it didn't, and I would say that it had an impact. I have given this consideration. So what might it, how might it affect me?
就是在这样的状况下的话，大家觉得这样会对就是胎儿会有什么样的影响啊？或是
share experience.
Okay, so that's my experience, and so let's hear others experience?
Taco say,
What does Taco? Can Taco say?
can Taco say? 召唤 Taco.
Yeah, Taco can
大
say.
家自己跟老师说一下，去上厕所。
Taco
嘿嘿嘿，喂，有听到吗？
有 Yes.
这个我不太会讲，就是我妈只有跟我说过，说她很不容易怀孕，然后应该是婚后好几年才终于怀上我，然后她生我的时候，爸爸在工作，所以是她自己去医院把我生下来的。我大概只知道这些状况。那我目前连接不太到什么，可能从他那边来的信念，但是应该有啦，但是我还在找，还在看。
She say her parents her mother got pregnant after a few years when they get married, so it's quite difficult to get pregnant, and she's the only one child in her family. And seems it's quite suffered during the pregnancy for her mom, and because her father was busy, so when her mother was giving birth, she went to hospital by herself or something like that. Yeah.
Do you think it had do you think that do you have any feeling that maybe there was some that affect you in some way?
She said she did say that. She said she didn't feel much so far, but still try to connecting and looking for.
Great. Yeah, thank you.
And Xiao Dai say something. I think
Can Shai Day say it in
yeah,
Mandarin?
I think she can speak English.
Hi.
You could say it in Mandarin though.
I think her,
Okay. When my father and mother was get married in first year, and they got pregnant in accident, so they are very like shocked but very happy. And when my mother go to check her situation, and the doctor told her, I was a boy. So my mother and father called me like a nickname. They used the boy nickname to call me for like 7 or 9 months.
Yeah.
So so when in the 9th month they go to see the doctor, and they find out, oh, I'm not a boy, I'm a girl. They are very, very shocked. So they are correctly to change my nickname. But I think it caused influence, because I am my personality would be more boyish. Yeah, so I think it got impact to me, because they may really like want a boy, or they thought I'm a boy, but when I was a girl, when I'm a girl, they wish I could be more girly, but sorry, because my personality would not to be allowed, would not to be do this. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So it have this situation or this issue, they spread to me and my parents. Yeah, because yeah, that's all. Okay.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. So you went.
小戴要用中文再分享一次吗？
Sorry, my bad English.
That's good.
Yeah. 我的意思是说， 就是我出生的时候是我父母的一个意外，这样。然后但他们已经结婚了，他们结婚第1年，然后他们就怀了我这样子。那他那个时候是因为医生检查的时候就会看我好像有就是男性的性器官这样，他们以为那个其实是我的，但其实是就是他们以为那是男性性器官，所以他说很高兴你们就是怀了一个男孩这样。那我父母就很开心啊，就是那就是一直叫我是那个男生的，比如说可能大宝这样，他以为我是男生这样。那可是后来发现，就是第9个月的时候才发现，我不是男的然后他们就赶紧叫什么可能女生的名字，比如说小美这样，就是这样。然后我出生之后，就是这个就是我真的会有很男性的特质，就是所以我长大之后，就是包括我出生的之后第1个月、第2个月，这个是我就是这是多的故事啦，就是我妈妈就是她会买很多很可爱的那种粉红色的围裙啊，然后呢或是粉红色的宝宝衣服给我，然后她就把它就是她让我穿那些衣服，然后推车，然后推在路上，然后呢就有就是阿嬷就是跟我妈妈说，你怎么让那个男宝宝穿女生的衣服啊？我妈就觉得很难过，她说我真的是女儿好吗？不是男的。然后那就是阿公那个阿嬷就说就不像啊，就是他就是男的，你为什么要给他穿女生的衣服这样？那这个东西就是影响我的这个成长历程非常的深，这样我妈她就是想要一直让我符合这个女性的一个社会的一个期待，可是我的这个气质和个性就不是这样。Okay.
Yeah, it's a good story. It's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So for all of that period of time, whatever it was, like 7 months or something, they are thinking they have a boy.
Yeah, it is. They are thinking I am a boy, and but I actually a girl.
Yeah.
So when I have learned, I still got some boyish personality.
Yeah.
But my mother wished I could be more girly. Even I was 1 month or 2 months, and she gave me to wear the girlish cutie dress. Yeah, but when she put me to go shopping or do other things on the street, other stranger will talk, wow, this mother, it's really strange. Why would she put the girl clothes on a boy child? Something like that. Yeah,
Wow.
it's always struggle between me and my mother when when I grow time. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So this is beyond. This is so this started in when you were in the womb, when your mother was carrying you, and then it goes on into your childhood. Yeah. Amazing. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
感谢分享。还有其他人要分享吗？I can share my experience. Is like I'm the second children of my mother, and then they were expect a boy, like they just want 2 kids, like 1 girl and 1 boy. So they are expecting I'm like a boy baby, and then when they find out I'm a girl, I think my mother feel disappointed a lot.
Okay. So they already have a girl.
Yeah, they already have my sister.
Yeah. And now they're thinking, it'd be good to have a boy, and then we have to balance.
Yeah. Like they just want 2 kids.
Yeah, 2 kids, a boy and a girl.
Yeah. So maybe in my situation, I will always feel, oh, I'm not welcoming to some place. I'm aware I carry these feelings like until now. Sometimes I always feel, oh, I'm not welcoming, and then I'm sad about it. Yeah.
Well,
It's infecting my life.
yeah. So the feeling was that part of it was what you're saying is that to them, they felt, it's a little bit disappointing that we
Yeah.
didn't.
I know it's very common in like a Asian family.
Yeah. But still, it's the effect was there for you. You want to say that in Mandarin?
OK， 就是我有发现那个，就是我爸妈他们那时候在怀我的时候，因为我是老二，然后他们就希望是一个男孩，因为已经有姐姐，就是一男一女。但是后来发现我是女生的时候，妈妈好像就蛮失望的，想说哦是女的哦，就是有一种失望的感觉，所以我可能当时在子宫里面就会觉得，哎，我好像是不受欢迎的。然后没有被这个世界欢迎，然后所以就是一直到现在，可能去某一些空间或是去某一些聚会的时候，有时候常常就会觉得，哎，自己是不受欢迎这样，然后就是会一直影响到现在这样。对 ，OK， 还有其他人要分享的吗？那个 Jenny。
姐，你要分享吗？
在吗？
他好像收讯不太好，所以也许会有点累。
听得到吗？
大累个。
听得到吗？
中累个。
有听到声音吗？
微小累个。
好 ，OK。
WiFi。那你有想要说吗？你在尝试找收讯吗？还是今天先 pass？
或是打文字也可以的。
对，可以用打字的。She need to ask her mom.
Okay.
Okay.
Hey, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. To ask your mum, what was the situation when you were carrying me inside? That's a good question. Good to know about. What was happening? What was happening in the world around them? What was happening to their, work? Was their life stable? Was there any disease, any sickness? Did they want a child? That's a tough question. Did they really want a child? Was it accident? But these are all the realities that are good to know about.
就是老师觉得这样很好，就是大家可以试着回去询问自己的妈妈，就是当时怀孕时候的可能是社会局势啊，或是她的工作状况啊，或是她那时候有没有什么疾病啊，然后你可以去问一下妈妈当时怀孕的时候，她当时有想要小孩吗？或是她是一个意外？就是你可以去跟你的妈妈，就是用聊天方式跟她询问看看。OK.
Okay. So how else we got to have there? We got there.
I got a question. So like if when they in pregnancy and then it's like now is in COVID situation. So you think what might happen or cause influence?
Yeah,
or
well,
like
that's,
SARS or some disease like you're saying.
Yeah, that's a really good question.
我问老师说，如果说比如说像现在可能 COVID 2-3年这样，然后说如果是在 COVID 这个时间 怀孕的妈妈，就是这过程，然后会生出来的孩子，然后可能会有哪些类型的影响吗？这样。
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's a good question. What could be the influence of that? So we could say, firstly, let's look at what might the mother be experiencing. Okay, well, we got a pandemic, people are getting sick, there's a lot of worry. If worrying, the social message is, this is very scary, we don't know how bad it is, we have to take some big action, whatever we can do, we should do. That's all pretty strong messages, and it's not something we'd experienced before. So a lot of people did feel a lot of fear and anxiety. Okay, so if you were in the womb during that period of time, you've got, and that's quite a, so it's a year at least. There's a lot, the mother could be experiencing a lot of fear and anxiety. And so the child is going to be experiencing all the hormones and all of the chemicals associated with that, all the tension. Yeah, so we could imagine that. That's a good example. What might be a result? What might be an effect for a child coming into the world if that was the situation during the whole 9 months of their womb experience? That their mother was experiencing this anxiety, worried about getting COVID, worrying about dying, worried about that, worried about wearing a mask and not spreading the disease. What do we think if that was the situation? What might be, if we were all psychologists, what might we think about?
就是对刚刚妹的分享，就是老师就说，对啊，在这段疫情期间，可能妈妈接收到外界资讯都是可能很多恐惧啊，或是很多焦虑，然后可能会担心这个啊，担心那个啊，担心病毒啊，然后各式各样的担心，然后这些荷尔蒙跟这些化学变化都会在那个就是子宫里面发生，然后胎儿可能就会感觉到一些外界的状况。对，所以老师就请大家，现在大家都是心理学家，大家可以自己去想想，这样他对就是在这几年怀孕的妈妈还有她的小孩会有什么样的影响，在我们这几年的大环境影响之下。Maybe it's a lot of uncertainty or insecurity.
Yeah. What do other people think?
I got a question. In COVID, many people have 疫苗怎么讲？我不知道。就是 vaccine. Many people had accept to get a vaccine, and many people I saw the report that because everyone is at home and many couples feel bored, so they have sex a lot during when they're at home. And I'm curious about if a mother get vaccines, is that have influence to her child, and something like that. And if anyone feel unsafe, will they have more sex to feel better?
That's possible. That's possible. If it's at home during a lockdown, you would think that would be possible, that people would be having more sex, and because it's like entertainment, something to do. But also too, another side of that, the research was showing that people are also having a lot more fighting, a lot more violence at home. So, people are not people feel frustrated. They don't want to be locked up. They don't want to stay home. They're not used to it. It's like the situation when the married couple, the father retire from his job, and all of a sudden the father is at home all the time. It's like, wow, it's a whole new thing, not used to it. So yeah, I think there's a few different things that you got there. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so what about others' thoughts on, someone else want to say something about their, what was happening, what you know about what was happening when your mother had you inside of her? Anyone else want to say something there?
还有人要分享的吗？美清要分享吗？在妈妈肚子里面的时候，大概是什么样的状况，或是怎么样的时代背景？呼叫美清。
没有
Some idea?
No,
没有。
Okay.
She say no idea.
No idea. Yeah.
How about talking about my one?
Yeah, sure.
我在家是长女，然后我们家有3个小孩，然后我是我们全家就是最矮的。然后我那时候就想说，会不会是因为我爸妈，就我妈妈怀我的时候，因为是第一胎，然后他们刚结婚没多久，然后可能就是要拼经济啊，然后就是有很多经济的重担，因为又要照顾各自的就是家庭，就是爸爸妈妈自己的爸爸妈妈这样什么的，然后会不会就是因为这样，然后导致我那个可能吸收什么的，就是你知道三姐妹里面，就是可能生长在一个比如说最高压紧张，然后可能妈妈也没有办法好好照顾自己的那个时期，这样。对 I talking about I'm the oldest child in my family, and I'm also is the shortest one. So maybe it's because when my mom having me in pregnancy, and she's stressed and a lot of pressure from finance, and I need to look after her parents and my dad's parents, something like that. So cause me, become like,
oh, yep, use up the energy.
Yeah, something like that.
Instead of going to you,
Yeah.
going to dealing with all of the stress.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's that's a possibility too. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. So there's a little important point here. If we think about what was happening there, whatever it was, the feelings, whether they were positive or pleasurable or uncomfortable, and could be uncomfortable in the womb there. Whatever it is gets associated with the environment, and if the environment is this place that initially at least is a comfortable, warm, safe place. It's comfortable, it's warm, it's safe for most of us, and that gets associated also with this the anxiety feelings, the chemicals of anxiety, all of those other things that are going on. Maybe even noise, could be noise. If the outside environment is very noisy, but inside there we are warm and comfortable, then we've got those two things coming together as normal. I think that is what is kind of like an important point about this, is that this is so early. This is our very first sort of touch with reality of what's around us. And so it's going to be experienced as the way it actually is, normal. Okay, so if you think that it was a crazy environment for your parents, your mother, you were in that crazy environment, but you at the same time, you're in this holding warm place, growing. Those two experiences are joining together. So you can see how this could be, the effect of that, this fear and pleasure, safety and lack of safety, are joining together. And you can see how that would cause us could cause us potentially a lot of confusion later on.
这边有一个重点，老师要强调，就是在妈妈的子宫里面，我们可能是觉得是很舒服啊，很温暖啊，然后很安全啊，但是同时呢，外在的世界可能是妈妈可能觉得很焦虑啊，然后或是很开心啊，或是很有压力啊，或是很恐惧，然后或是很担心，然后就是这个内外的这种冲突，它们是连接在一起的，因为我们在子宫里面是感觉到是非常舒服安全，但是外在的这些同样也是正在发生，然后所以这两股力量它就是会连接在一起，然后变成让我们觉得这个是正常的，然后也可能因此让我们觉得，也有可能会因此造成我们感觉到很困惑，因为就想说到底是怎样，就是两股不同的力量在有把它连接在一起这样。
Yeah. And so what this sort of says is that, say the feeling of anxiety, feeling of worry, right? It has a chemical feeling. It's a physiological thing. So if we in the womb, we got used to that. If we got used to that, that was something that was constantly happening. We also associate that with what is just normal experience in our body. And so later on, we can feel quite comfortable with anxiety being something that's just there. And we might even feel strange if we're not feeling anxious.
就是它会以一种化学变化方式存在我们的身体细胞里面，然后所以你可能反而会觉得说，这个就是一个正常的状态啊，就是焦虑可能是一个正常的状态，在当时候在妈妈肚子里面的时候，然后有可能你现在啊，如果你可能没有那个焦虑的感觉，你可能反而会觉得，我是不是怪怪的，然后是不是不正常这样，就是因为大家已经太习惯那个它的化学变化已经发生了，然后已经储存在身体记忆里面。
Yeah, it's sort of like saying, well, maybe peaceful feels really strange, and we don't feel comfortable with peaceful. But we need some drama to happen to feel comfortable. This is not unusual.
就是大家可能反而现在会觉得平静是一件很奇怪的事，反而就是要那种很轰轰烈烈啊，然后很多起伏才是正常的。
Okay, so that's the time in the womb. Yeah, so maybe it had a big impact, maybe it didn't. It's something. The idea is, it's not to say either way. It's just to ask ourselves, what was happening at that time? Question your mother, question your father, and then it's just, how do we feel about that? Do we feel it had some, has it left us with something? And I think it's really clear from what you were saying, the stories we just heard, there is definitely something that is going to be happening here.
就是大家可以去问看看自己的爸爸妈妈，然后也许他对你有影响，也许没有，就是你都可以自己去想想看。
Okay.
Taco say something about her mother's story. So Taco is curious about her mother's because when her mother's mother got pregnancy, it's a really busy and poor time, and her mother already got an older brother before her. So her mother is a twins. twins, two girls.
Mhm.
So when her mother's mother gave birth, and then just really worry about they can't survive or something like that, and really not sure, disappointed or something like that. So Taco said she's curious about her mother's experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you can talk to your mother about that. How she felt about that, if she felt that, that time had some influence, if she is open to that sort of discussion. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's good. And twins, that's another interesting thing. You're sharing the womb with somebody else. That's crazy, amazing. Another person in there. Yeah. A lot of research has been done in that area. So it's interesting. Okay, so we've looked at that. Time in the mother. So what about the next big step? The first huge step in our life is the coming out into the world, birth. Right. So I say here, roller coaster ride. A roller coaster? Oh, there's the fun, meant to be fun ride. You go up and down like this. Yeah, can be really scary. Okay, so birth. So this is this is kind of like a lot more. We know a lot more about the effect of birth, and birth has a very powerful effect on our experience of life. And you can just think about this. So what are we talking about here? We're talking about a transition. What's the word for transition in Mandarin? Change from one thing to another thing.
转变.
Yeah. This is a big change. This is huge. This is coming into life, being born into the world. And we are going from some place which is really different, which is warm, which is comfortable. We've been listening to our mother's heartbeat. We've been listening to our mother's breathing. All of that's been going on. The outside world has been filtered through our mother's body. So it's not too loud. We're not hearing all of that. It's pretty dark in there. We're just seeing a little, we're not seeing anything. There's a bit of light, where we are. At the end of it, we're able to, get a sense of that. You can imagine that space. We've seen pictures of that, images of that in the media.
就是出生是很像在坐云霄飞车一样，就是很像我们第一次坐云霄飞车一样，就是其实很刺激、很惊险。然后大家可以想象一下，就是你在妈妈肚子里面的时候啊，它可能是很黑，然后可能只有一点点光，然后很温暖、很安全，然后外界所有资讯都是经过妈妈的已经过滤了，所以可能没有那么吵，然后没有那么的焦躁，然后没有那么的不安，对，然后就是我们出生就是一种转变嘛，我们要从里面去到外面，它是一个很大很大的转变。Okay.
Yeah. Okay, and so then where are we going? Where are we changing to? We've been here in the womb, and now we're coming out into the world. So what do we know about that change? What is that experience like of being born? So maybe someone could tell us when you think about being born, the process, what do you imagine that was like? Or what do you know that's like? Have you seen that? What do you know?
就是大家对于出生的这个状况有什么样的理解，或是有什么样的认识，可以跟我们分享一下。Yeah, we got few mothers here.
Yep,
They
okay.
have experience about birth.
Okay. Can we hear that?
就是现在现场有几位妈妈，有没有人要分享一下你对于出生的这个过程，可以跟大家分享一下，就它是一个什么样的状态？品珍要不要分享一下？或是有其他人想要分享的？
Who wants to say something?
For what I know is a pretty crazy process and like a confused and busy moment and painful moment.
Yeah. What was our own birth like? So does anybody know what their own birth was like? Or have some idea about it? What was happening at that time, how it happened?
有人知道自己出生时候的状态是什么吗？比如说有些人可能会什么胎盘绕颈啊，还是什么的，或是什么难产啊，有人想要分享一下吗？或是你自己有生过小孩的也可以分享。
Jenny say her mother say the process to give her birth is just like a poo, so easy. But doesn't know is a true or not. And Taco say she was 3,700 grams. It's really heavy and doesn't want to leave.
Okay.
Just doesn't want to get out.
Yeah.
Just stay there as long as she can.
Right. So Taka, when you think about that, you're a big child, right? And you don't want to come out. How do you know that?
My mom told me that.
Your mother told you that. Yeah.
She said I'm very 很重，然后超过预产期才出来。我说对啊，你看我现在都不想出来这个地球，要把我生出来。
Really heavy and over that time.
Over the time, yeah.
Doesn't want to come to the world.
Right. Do you feel? Can you relate to that in life as a sort of the idea of sort of like don't really want to come, because that's about change. That's about making a change, about a big change, For some reason you just weren't ready for that, or you didn't want to do that. Are you able to sort of like in your life, do you have some feeling about that?
老师问我什么？
就是那个你不想退房这件事情啊，你觉得在你的那个生命经验中，一直有这样，比如说对这样的感觉是有连结的吗？
我一直觉得我不算依赖，但是我有曾经被就是上课的时候，老师说我很依赖我的父母，但我不知道，我觉得我自己在否认这个说法，但是我在想会不会其实也是有点关联。
Oh, she said someone did tell her, say, oh, you really rely on your parent, but she reject that idea, but maybe it's kind of something like that, but she doesn't want to, doesn't want to accept.
Okay, well, whether that is related or not, that's an interesting thing to look at. Yeah. Okay, well, that's what you say there is like, the newborn or preborn not wanting to come out, not ready. That is actually from the reports I've heard. That's an experience people have. They don't feel ready. They feel like it's they want to hang back, not ready. They feel they're being pushed or forced to come out. You know, and then there is the situation where you have the what do you call it? Forceps, where you pull out, you know, grabbed, you know, and pulled out. So does anybody have that experience? Do they know about their birth? Anyone have that situation?
就是可能有一些那个已经过预产期还不想要出来的人啊，就是可能会有一种感觉是好像被强迫要出来，或是就被迫，然后被拉出来。就是像以前有没有人有那个经验，就是你是被人家吸出来的，用很像马桶盖那个被从产道里面吸出来，因为就是真的没有办法，一定要出来这样。有人有这样的经验吗？
No.
Yeah. Well, we could think about that situation. What might be, you know, what might be happening there? How might that affect us? You know, the idea that we had to be pulled out, dragged out, didn't want to go.
就大家觉得，如果经验过这个被拉出来，或是被迫要出来的这种状况的话，会有什么样的影响？
I got another idea. Is my mom say because her period is not that regular, so in the beginning when they get married and the doctor say she won't get pregnant. Yeah, but then maybe 1 year later, she get pregnant. So I just thinking about maybe that's I'm really looking forward to come to this world or something like that. I'm not sure.
Yeah, yeah.
我就想到我妈说，因为我妈的那个经期就不是很稳定，所以她刚结婚的时候，医生是判定她就是不孕症这样。对，所以他们也就是可能就很放松，觉得说可能这辈子就不会有小孩之类的。可是就是可能我还是找到机会就是着床了这样。然后我就想说，这会不会跟我们就是因为就想到 Taco 的部分啊，然后我就想说，那是不是我真的很会找机会，然后就投胎到这个世界上之类的。Yeah. And then she got 3 daughters.
Yeah. Yeah. How disappointing. Okay. So this idea of birth, you know, we're going from one fairly, you know, comfortable experience into a crazy world where it might be quite painful. The way we do birth process hasn't been good, you know, unless you're really lucky. You know, it's a scary transition. It's a lot of, all of a sudden, it's a real close contact with the real world. You know, it's bright light, it's hard feelings, it's you know, forced to take your first breath, breathing in, you know, emptying out the fluid and taking a breath. That's not a pleasant thing to be doing. You know, it can be very painful. It's all very scary. All right, changing over how you get your oxygen from the umbilical cord to breathing air. Wow, what a huge, crazy experience.
And someone going to hit your pigu.
And somebody's going to hit your pigu as well. So, you know, unless you're lucky, it's and maybe they're going to hold you upside down by the feet. You know, here's your baby. This. Okay, that doesn't always happen, and we got a lot more awareness gradually. You know, it's been a medical thing, you know, rather than a gentle birth experience. So gradually things are changing though.
好，就是在出生的时候，大部分的人可能都是经历过一个蛮 混乱，然后蛮痛苦的状态下出生的。因为你就是要从很温暖，然后很舒服的子宫里面，然后一出来可能就要那个被打屁股啊，然后被各式各样的那个叫你呼吸啊，你本来都是可能吸液体啊，可是你要去做你的第一次的呼吸，然后可能都是很不舒服、很不愉悦的那个经验，对，而且它是一个很大的转变的过程。
Even if it was a really gentle experience, it would still be crazy, scary. You know, it's a big change. It's a huge change. Okay, so Freud. We know Freud, don't we?
弗洛伊德。
Yeah. So Freud, way back 1909, he thought that our birth experience, the process of birth, this here, the process of birth is a model for, you can see it here. You can see this? I'm sharing my screen, aren't I? So he felt that birth was the process of birth is the source of and model for the experience of anxiety.
就是弗洛伊德在1909年的时候就有说，他觉得出生这个过程呢，其实就是我们焦虑，我们会有这个焦虑经验的原型。
Yep. Okay. What's that message?
Say if people get gentle birth process, so then maybe they have nothing to worry.
That's what Freud is saying. If your birth is more gentle, maybe you have less worry. Maybe you feel safer in the world. This is the thinking. Yeah. Yeah. So also another person who was a colleague, working associate, co-worker with Freud, Otto Rank, he felt that birth trauma, this one here, birth trauma is the central emotional factor in future psychological development. So he felt that, trauma, the scariness of birth, that gave you a main emotional experience that future development was based on. So he was saying the same sort of thing. Freud is saying that, hey, this is a model for anxiety. Any sort of change, we're going to feel the exact anxiety that was related to birth. And Rank, this guy, is saying that birth trauma becomes the center of our future development. And that's what we're saying here. It's like your core belief, the belief we have about ourselves. If I think the world is safe, if I think that I am good enough, if I think that I belong here, those things, they're core beliefs. They become the center thing that we grow on. Our psychological growth is kind of like connected to those things. It's like they're not, you don't separate them. Who I am as Lloyd is so, connected up to this experience of birth, coming into the world. Is Lloyd safe? Is Lloyd good enough? Is Lloyd, what is it? Is it okay to be here in the world?
就是弗洛伊德的同事，那个 OTTO 那个学者就说，对，出生的这个创伤其实就是会连接到我们未来发展我们这些情绪啊的一个很主要的一个因素。就像你在出生那时候，然后你是不是觉得自己是够好的，然后是不是值得存在的等等的这些 核心信念会一直影响着我们的一些信念的，就是生活的信念这样，会持续影响到我们的未来。
Yeah. So this sentence here, 2 sentences, this whole section really. The foundations, this section here, the foundations of our core beliefs about ourselves, others, and life in general can get put in place at birth, at this time. You know, that experience of birth, coming into the world, being, you know, whether frightened, scary, you know, the reaction of others to us. You know, if it feels like we are being born, but we're coming in and we're being attacked. It's like all of a sudden we're getting attacked. People grab us, you know, push us around, drag us around, pull us over there, put a chunk, throw you in there. You know, unless they give you, you know, giving you to the mother, then it's safe again. You know, we need that really fast. You know, but if you are separated from your mother, then that's a serious thing. You know, that causes serious damage. We know that. Research shows that, you know, that's life and death. If you are separated, the longer you are separated, then the more risk you have of you know, your development going in the wrong direction. So it's a really important experience, and it can shape our whole perception of what it is to be alive. You know, do we feel safe? You know, are we okay in the world? And the thing about it is that, you know, we can say, okay, do you know, oh, what do you know about your birth experience? Oh, I don't know. I don't remember that. You know, who remembers that? It's not like, you know, your mental functioning is not even really developed then. It's just a sense. It's just a feeling, right? But isn't that what we live with? Is this, you know, we get the idea, oh, we need to do this, or we need to do that, or we got a new project, or we're going to meet a new person. It's like the feeling, you know, the feeling is, oh, you know, is it exciting, or is it anxiety or worry, or, you know, it's those feelings that they are the things that are in there and hard to change because there's no words connected to them. You know, so this is the power of that birth experience to shape our future experience. And it also tells us how difficult it is to change that, you know, because it's so deep.
然后就是这一大段，就是老师在解释说，出生的过程啊，可能会受到各式各样的惊吓啊，或是你可能会被攻击啊，就被打屁股啊，或是被脚被抓起来啊，然后被做很多事情，然后他可能是很不舒服的，就是这一整个过程都会让我们有那样的感觉。因为那时候心智还没有发展嘛，所以当然没有记忆啊。可是那个感觉是一直存在的，你会有那种熟悉的感觉。对，然后可能会一直影响到现在的我们。可能当我们要做出改变的时候，那个感觉就会重新跑回来，然后就会让我们很害怕，就不敢做出改变之类的。
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why people don't like being changed.
Exactly. That's right. That's what Freud is saying. Don't want to change, because when big changes are going to bring up that fear. Yeah.
就是他出生的这个创伤是隐藏在很深很深的里面，然后所以其实也很难去疗愈，然后所以我就说对啊，所以大家才不想要改变。然后弗洛伊德也是说对，就是因为这个改变的过程就会让我们去联想到当时那个很不舒服很不愉悦的出生时候的记忆，这样的那个感受。
And I think this last one here is that, so change becomes just exactly what you're saying there. Change becomes a feared experience. We see change as painful, potentially painful. And if we see change as painful, then we are going to avoid change. And being in the world requires us to be able to deal with change. And so if we can't deal with change, we find it difficult, then these are kind of options here that we can develop. And I think they are kind of important. These things here link to other psychological ideas. So so if we with this fear of change coming from birth, it can cause us to always look for safety. So we just always look, we could always be looking for safety. A lot of people are doing this. They just want to be safe. I don't want any change. I want to keep the same, for example, I want to keep the same job forever. I want to live in the same place. I don't want to move. Moving house is like birth again, going from one comfortable place to a place you don't know. So that can be one thing, just always trying to find safety. We might, and that can cause us to always look for, try and be liked. That's not a good thing, always wanting to be liked. It could also push us to be strong. I don't feel safe in the idea is I don't feel safe in the world, so I need to be strong. I need to dominate other people. I need to be in control. This could be another reaction to a painful, traumatic birth. And the third one is we could isolate ourselves. We could try and stay away from people. The world is crazy. The world is scary. The world is dangerous. I'm just going to hide on the side. Don't get too involved. Don't get too close. Don't let people hurt you again.
就是这一段在讲说因为出生的这些创伤的经验啊，可能会让我们在人生过程里面可能会有一种强迫想要去什么都想要找安全牌啊，然后想要寻找安全的方法，安全舒适的，可能就是一模一样的环境啊，然后一模一样的工作啊，然后不想要搬家，因为搬家就代表是一个全新未知的旅途，然后可能就会想要一直待在原本地方啊，然后或是我们可能也会想要去确保说我们是被喜欢的啊，然后是我们也会可能很想要去主导别人，然后去有这个控制欲，对，然后或是我们可能也会想要就是把自己孤立起来，然后减少接触到其他人，因为这样我们就不会被别人伤害。Okay.
So, well, we won't go any further here now because we've run out of time. But I do want to say about this process here, why would I even write about this? Why would I be thinking about this when I write this book? Why am I thinking about birth? Why am I thinking about time in the womb, first 9 months? When I was writing this, why am I thinking this is important? Because is there something we normally think about? Not at all. Not at all. We just do not normally think about this in terms of like, how might this affect us? We don't think about that. Do we remember it? We don't remember it. If we ask, what was my birth like? Maybe we have no idea except for if our mother told us something. So the reason I kind of write about this is because of my experience using G.R.M.T, using breath work, and going back in time, in my consciousness to the time when I was born and to the time when the experience, the feelings, the sense when I was in the womb, in the later parts of that. The sense of that is something that when we do breathwork practice like G.R.M.T, we can go back into that, the feelings that are still present in our body, like the fear, the anxiety, the trauma from birth. We carry it with us. We carry it with us as a physical memory.
就是老师有说他为什么当初要把这一段这个出生前的这个状态啊，还有就是出生的这个过程的创伤，为什么要把它放进这本书里面？就是因为老师在做他这套 G.R.M.T 引导式的正念呼吸疗法的时候，他就发现当他在做这个呼吸疗法，然后在做个案的过程当中，他可以很清楚的去感觉到他的出生时那时候的感受，他可以很清楚的感觉到那些感觉都还储存在他的物质身体里面，而且都是现在进行式，然后他一直期待这些感觉，一直到现在，对。
Yeah. And so the breathing process, because the trauma of that experience, because we still hold on to it, because we haven't been able to reach it, it's not something that has words, it's just a background feeling about our experience in the world, how safe we are, whether we deserve to be here. Is it safe to be here? Are we wanted? If I come into the world and I cry, is somebody going to smash me? It's all of that deep, really deep experience. Well, breathwork will, G.R.M.T particularly, will access that. It will show that to us, and it will help us just let it go and give us more freedom, less fear.
就是基本上这些出生时的创伤是一直没有被任何人关注，然后即使我们想要关注也没有管道可以去关注，因为那时候我们就是也不知道发生什么状况，但是它其实就有一点像在我们的背景，可能就是在我们的很深很深的潜意识里面的底层，然后持续的影响我们。那透过呼吸的这个疗愈释放，它其实就可以打开这个通道，让我们去释放、去疗愈我们在这个很早期的这个经验、这个创伤，然后去释放这个感受。
Yeah.
对，
So
让我们不再害怕。
Yeah, I recommend G.R.M.T for clean up birth trauma.
老师建议大家都可以来体验这个 G.R.M.T 的这个呼吸疗法，然后来释放、去疗愈我们出生时期的这些创伤。
Yeah. My mother told me I had a normal birth.
And you disagree?
Well, you have to ask, okay? And I think a lot of mothers will tell you you had a normal birth, and we might think our children had a normal birth, but we have to ask, what is a normal birth? What is that like to experience? A normal birth. I think, I know that my birth was very scary for me. It was a very scary experience, and I didn't want to come out. And coming out was a struggle. I didn't think I could make it. I really, and of course I'm not thinking this, but this is the sense, the sense I had. One sense I had with my birth was, I don't think I can make it. And, that was kind of a core belief for me, has been a core belief, I can't make it. Even when I'm making it, even when I am successfully born, which I've previously said, I'm pretty sure I was successfully born. I've got good evidence to demonstrate that. But even so, so my birth had an impact, and so I have a very strong experience of that. So that's why I was writing about this.
就是老师的妈妈说，她是在很正常的状态下出生的，然后就是你就可以去想说，到底什么样是所谓正常的出生状态？就是她真的是正常的吗？然后，但是老师知道她自己的出生过程是让她自己很不舒服的，而且她会一直觉得自己快要失败，但自己是做不到的，自己可能是出不来的。然后，虽然她事实证明，对，她现在已经出生了，而且也写书，然后而且也活到现在，可是就是这个想法，然后这个感觉会就是一直期待着，变成她有一种核心信念，觉得自己好像做不到这样。
Okay. So
Okay.
yeah. So if you're doing the process of G.R.M.T, you will at some point kind of have the experience of what your birth was like for you. Anyway, so we've come to a point where we need to finish up. So this is a big chapter, this chapter, and we will continue next time looking at our experience through with our parents and the whole learning process that is going on. And this is a really interesting section, modeling, you know, how we copy the patterns of our parents and how our parents copy the patterns of their parents, and how it's a generational thing. The idea of repetition, how repeated is what causes us to develop patterns. Association, this is about pain and pleasure and getting those two things connected. And intensity, emotional intensity, how strong experiences are. So we won't go there right now. So this continues the idea, the theme here is shaping of beliefs. How do our beliefs get shaped? How do they get created? You know, and why is it that they are so difficult to change sometimes, especially the really deep ones about who we are as in the world? Okay, so join us next time for this interesting discussion. Okay, and I hope you've enjoyed this. No, it's really just saying, just think about it. You know, think about ask your parents, what was that like? Think about it yourself. What do you know? You know, and if you've got children, you can think about that process of birth and being in the womb, you know, because there you got real first-hand experience. Yeah. And from what I can understand is the experience of parents when they have their own child actually brings up feelings that they had from their childhood. So, you know, you can think about that.
好哦。
Okay.
就我们下周会继续的往下去探讨，到底是什么形塑我们的信念，然后到底是什么让我们有了现在的我们所相信的这一些信念啊，核心信念啊，然后欢迎大家下周再加入跟我们一起探讨。然后老师刚有补充说，像如果有小孩的啊，可能你会在生小孩或是养小孩过程当中，去更多的触及到你的童年的那些感觉跟创伤。OK.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for joining.
OK.
And we will sign off.
Sign off.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay. See you, everybody.
OK.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Talk to you later.
Yeah. Bye bye.
Bye.